And just be careful you don't have overuse of and. It's not like and. Just be careful. So you search YouTube and realize that there is a sample assessed online and you can watch. Well, welcome to IELTS Juice. That's exactly what we're going to do today. It's an essay. Let's assess together. The rubric says, it is becoming increasingly popular to have a year off between finishing school and going to university. Technically speaking, actually, it's finishing high school. That was correct, but anyway, that doesn't matter really. Oh, so students take a year off between finishing high school and going to university. And this is a trend. It's becoming more popular these days. Okay, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? One thing to note, advantages, plural, disadvantages, plural. So we need to come up with at least 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages. And may I suggest that when we want to write, it's very good to devote 1 paragraph to the advantages and 1 paragraph to the disadvantages. It's very manageable this way. Trust me, if we are going to mix them up, this is going to be wrong, and it is going to be very difficult for us to execute a proper response. So why bother? Just simply devote 1 paragraph to the advantages and 1 paragraph to disadvantages. Now, you might say, I want to develop it fully, my task that is. So I want to give 2 disadvantages, but I want to give each advantage a paragraph. That's correct. That's a bold move. You need to be a fast typer or writer to write 2 advantages separately and give each paragraph 1 advantage and then move on to 2 other disadvantages, and you do the same thing. So you will end up with 4 paragraphs. That is difficult, but that's not wrong. That is also acceptable. Just be careful how much time you're going to spend, and when you write your handwriting, and if you type, be careful, you might have some typos. So with that in mind, let's move on to the candidate's response. Having a year off after graduation from school, this is redundant because we graduate from school. I mean, the word graduation has that intrinsic meaning all by itself. So you don't need to say you graduate after or graduate from school. But that's not an error. It's just extra information that you can omit. Not really. It's okay. From school and entering a university is getting highly popular. I like this, that the sentence acknowledges the trend. So it is something that is getting highly popular. So there's this motion in it. In my opinion, this custom would certainly aid teenagers. Okay, it's custom. I would use the word trend. Would certainly aid teenagers, that is a correct word here, because the target audience is teenagers, to reflect on their preferences of future prospects, on future prospects, as well as broaden. Okay, after as well as, we need a noun. This cannot be here. We either need to say as well as broadening, so you use gerund, which is a form of noun, or you simply change this to the word and, of future prospects, and broaden their outlook. It means the teenagers broaden their outlook, and that would be okay. Just be careful when I tell you and, I haven't read the rest of the paragraph or the rest of the essay. And just be careful you don't have overuse of and. It's not like and. Just be careful. Number two, don't think that as well as is similar to and. Yes, the meaning might be similar, but when you actually want to write it, please be careful. Before you go ahead and use it, look it up in a dictionary, in a reputable dictionary. I'll put a link again of some of the lessons that can help you find a good dictionary and how to use a good dictionary when you have it. Either you download the app, or you have access to the app, or you purchase the subscription or the app, or simply you go online and check it. Whichever reason or whichever method you have, just be sure that it's a reputable source, and you read. You don't just read the meaning, you read extensively, you read examples, and you see how the word is used. Good. The outlook of different cultures and traditions, but there would also some drawbacks. Different cultures and traditions, but there would be some drawbacks. I guess then we need the verb there. And traditions, yeah. There would also be some drawbacks, something like that. Okay, the introduction gives me this outlook of the essay that yes, we are going to talk about the advantages, although there are some disadvantages. And I have a feeling that the writer believes that the advantages are, I mean, this is like a favorable trend for the writer. So the advantages are more in the focal point, and the drawbacks are pushed to the sides. I like this approach. When a writer uses the power of words and sentences and grammar to tell us a message like this, that's just beautiful. Let's focus on the first body paragraph. There is little room for doubt that having a year off from school allows adolescents, good word, to spend this time you spend time on obtaining practical skills and experience. Very good. So in this paragraph, we're going to talk about getting experience and getting some practical skills. Learning. So you learn some skills, and then you also have experience. In other words, now we're supporting. Youngsters would have the ability to work as a junior employee. Youngsters, we're generalizing. So they would have the ability to work as junior employees. Again, we generalize. For chosen companies where they wish to gain specific practical knowledge. Beautiful. I also like the use of this connector. It's a discourse, not a discourse marker in this sense. I want to say it's a relative clause pronoun, meaning it connects or it defines what type of chosen companies we're talking about. And this is actually a very good execution. A typical example of this would be when young people, this must be changed. When young people want to develop a clearer understanding of their abilities to perform particular tasks, good, and responsibilities. You don't perform responsibilities, you usually have responsibilities, or you carry out your responsibilities. It's okay. It could be better. By working for a chosen company, all right? As a junior developer, or, oh, these are examples. As a junior, again, we talked about, where's the audience? Young people. Again, we're generalizing, so why don't we just go ahead and say junior developers, as junior developers or shift assistants? or chef helpers. Furthermore, this time, okay, now this is the second advantage. This time, out of specific obligation, youngsters are able to spend, this is the time, comma. So I need to say, this is the time. Then I need a comma here. Out of specific obligation, another comma here. That is called a bracketing comma. I'm putting it between bracketing commas because I want to say that this conveys a specific message that if you miss, it's okay, because this message is not going to affect the flow of information in the sentence. I can just skip it. Youngsters are able to spend, so it's the time that youngsters are able to spend by traveling around the world in order to widen their perceptions about different cultures and customs. Okay, that's fine. Hence, taking a year off after graduation from school would result in youngsters developing practical skills and learning specific features of other countries. In other words, the second advantage, which started from here, and then we talked about having the time to actually go on different trips and visiting different countries, maybe continents, I don't know. That counts as getting experience. I wished we had the word experience here just to fully understand the message. I had to, read a little bit between the lines to understand that, learning specific features of other countries counts as the experience you have going abroad. All right. That was a good paragraph, actually. I had two advantages, and the topic sentence was very clear about this. There were two major supporting sentences for the topic sentence, and both of those major supporting sentences were fully and very well developed with examples. Not fully, almost fully developed. Next, now I suppose this is going to be about the disadvantages. So let's see. On the other hand, I need a comma, because on the other hand is not the subject, and normally, not always, normally subject starts the sentence. So if you have something like this, an adverbial clause or an adverb, then you need a comma in the end. There would be obvious disadvantages if a teenager chooses to have a year off after finishing high school. High school doesn't need a hyphen. I mean, it's normally written as high school, so that's fine. Firstly, there is a high risk that young people, by traveling around the world, might be involved in serious accidents. Oh my God, what sort of accidents? Indeed, if adolescents select to travel to low-income countries, which are widely recognized as countries with high rate of crime, and states, this is countable, and states of upheaval, it's a very good collocation, it's a very good word. So far, upheaval, adolescents recognized, these are good words. These are excellent words. They could have faced a serious, dangerous circumstances. Okay, this is not good, because serious, dangerous circumstances is plural. I don't need this. Another one, I like the words. Circumstances is an excellent word. I know the writer wanted to flex some muscles in grammar and tell us that you know how to use grammatical structures in this format, but that doesn't give me the message I wanted to hear. You see, they could have faced means that they like thank God that didn't happen. But we're not talking about a specific trip with a specific group of people that happened in a specific date in the past. We're talking generally, like if adolescents generally select to travel to low income, that can happen anytime. That can happen this year. It happened multiple years before. No one can stop teenagers from having fun in the years to come. So this is not about a specific trip for a specific group of people that they had been to, and thank God nothing happened to them. Or you might go ahead and say, oh my gosh, something could have happened to these young people. Thank Lord that no one was hurt. That is not the grammar we want to see here. So instead, in states of upheaval, they might face, it's a first conditional sentence. If they select, they might face serious, dangerous circumstances at any point in their lives, with locals which might be fatal to them. Good. I don't need to them, but yeah, it might be fatal. Fatal. Look at the vocabulary. I'm digging it. Secondly, those adolescents who chose to gain practical skills by working as an apprentice could change their mind about obtaining further education. All right, you need to explain this to me a little bit. I'm expecting that the following sentences will tell me what they chose and what do you mean by obtaining further education, change their mind about obtaining, like they will not pursue a PhD, they will not pursue a master's degree, and they just go directly to a job, to find a job, or to find a position to earn money. Anyway, consequently, a number of young people who were employed as juniors could be succeeded. Oh no. Can succeed or could succeed. You cannot use success or as a noun and succeed as a verb in this way. In getting promotion, and therefore earning an appropriate salary would encourage them to proceed with working rather than entering a university. Okay, so my hunch, my speculation was right. So they will not pursue a degree at university. Instead, they would be encouraged to become successful at work. Good. I really like the disadvantages part. It was written rather differently. I didn't have a label for them. I was in the middle, in the paragraph, and the writer kind of kept me in the dark and slowly showed me the dangers of this trend. I don't know if it was done intentionally or it was just coincidentally happened like this. I welcome it. And I just want you to know that I really liked it this way. The disadvantages paragraph, I mean, was very well and organized, not in a not in the perfect way, but it was organized in a way that was intriguing for me to carry on and continue. So it was welcoming. It it was unputdownable, kind of. You can say that for a book. I'm going to borrow that phrase and use it for a paragraph here. Anyway, in conclusion, while taking a year off after finishing high school without a hyphen and before going to university is advantageous for young people, as they will be able to obtain useful skills and widen their outlook about other countries' culture, correctly punctuated, this trend's apostrophe S, this trend's disadvantages should be also taken into consideration. 373 words. The conclusion is all one word, all one sentence. So it's not a paragraph. It is shaped like a paragraph, but it's not really a paragraph. And it carries the message that I would like to hear. It has all the elements. It tells me the advantages, and I see the labels of those advantages, but the disadvantages is written, the word disadvantages is written as just disadvantages, and they should be taken into consideration. So this is a logical presentation of the essay, but it's not sequential. Now let's look at the band descriptors. Okay, good. Well, let me first focus on lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy. As for grammar, there were two instances that the grammar gave me a wrong message, or they gave me the message that wasn't intended to be. The one about success and be succeeded, that was used in the passive voice. And the other one about the grammar that meant there was a specific group of people who went on a specific trip in the past, could have faced, actually. So apart from those two, which actually really affected the communication between the writer and my understanding, I saw a variety of complex structures, and the majority of sentences were executed correctly. There were errors. I saw more errors in complex structures than the simple sentences. So the writer had a very good knowledge. It's just not 100%. And there is potential. If the writer goes and fixes those mistakes, then yeah, you can easily get a 7 in grammatical range and accuracy. As for lexical resource, the range was not wide. It was, however, sufficiently varied. I really like the vocabulary there, but remember, something that we always pay attention to is genre-specific words. So if you have words like upheaval, and it's a generic word, you can use it. You can use the word advantageous in many instances, but when we talk about genre-specific, if you know the word adolescent and you know how to spell it, and this topic is about teenagers, then yeah, that is something we consider valuable for a 9. And as you saw, there weren't that many words regarding the topic. The writer definitely has a broad knowledge in vocabulary, but there is room for improvement. And also some, not spelling errors, but word formation errors. The prepositions and words going together and not being fully matched. the collocation is not very common, things like that. And there was maybe one or two instances I had confusion with the reference. And I had to say, for instance, the time they spend on something. So I had to actually correct it and say that it's not just some time. It's not generic. It's the time that they're going to spend going out to different countries and visiting different places. So anyway, that was nice, but please don't just look at the final score. You see, the paragraphing was generally 8. The only issue I had was with the conclusion. It wasn't a respectable standard paragraph, let's say. It was just all one sentence. And the organization of the information was logical but not sequential, as I explained in the conclusion. And task response, we had 2 advantages, 2 disadvantages, very well addressed, very well developed. For each advantage point or disadvantage point, we had supporting sentences. So it was really, really well written. The rubric or the prompt was very well understood and addressed and developed. It's not full. You were there with me. You saw the elements that I pointed out and said, yeah, I just needed more explanation maybe here, a little bit more help with this part, some more words to elaborate on this. Those are the areas where that makes the difference between 8 and 9. So all in all, a 6.5. This is a very standard 6.5 actually. And I hope that you also enjoyed watching this sample being assessed with me, and you had some takeaways, like very beautiful sentences, excellent grammar, good words that you can copy in your essay. And always remember that your essay, letter or report are going to be your representative anyway. So all we need to do is make sure that they are going to be such an awesome representative for us. On that note, I wish you a lovely day ahead.